All right. So, you want to know how to feel better about yourself and be happier, right? Well, I'm going to teach you how to do that right now. Some simple techniques and just some simple ways to do it, honestly, to make yourself feel better about your life and yourself, because both of those things are very important. And it's not always the most complex thing you would think. Sometimes it is a very simple little fix that you just got to do, a quick little change in the mindset. So, the main thing I'm going to start off with is don't loathe in it. Don't sit in it. Don't stew in the bad feelings. A lot of groups, I will say, such as incels, other groups, like to sit and loathe in it and accept it and think that it can never get better and it will never get better. But I am here to tell you nothing is forever and no feeling is forever. It will never stay 100% horrible for you, and it can always change. No matter what, it can always change. So, what I mean by that is pretty much it's about your outlook. If something horrible happened to you, I'm not saying you should be perfectly happy and just excited the entire time and happy. I'm saying in the long term, you shouldn't be sad and depressed about it constantly. There are things you can do to try and work on it, and if you are depressed, that's perfectly valid. That's a perfectly okay thing. You're not weird, you're not different, you're not broken. There's nothing like that. I used to think that way, and honestly now, once I reached more happiness, I want to help you guys too, because it is very important in life, let me tell you. It is a huge importance. One of the major things that also does contribute to it is relying on others for happiness. I found that when you rely on others for validation of yourself or your hobbies or accomplishments, it won't always work out. You need to be able to be happy within yourself and get happy from your accomplishments on your own and be able to see those accomplishments within yourself and be happy about them. So that is something that you definitely need to do. Yeah, and also there's another thing. What you tell yourself each day. If you walk around saying that you're not worth it, you're awful, then you'll think that, because your brain, after about 16 times or so, I believe, repeating the same thing, memorizes it. And once you say that, your brain is going to remember those words constantly, and it's going to constantly hear that even if you're the one saying it. So it's going to think about that constantly. That's why if you do that, it will not be good for you in any way. You will not be happy. You will get even worse because that's all you're hearing. And ultimately, you have the most power over yourself. So if you're saying that and 5 other people are saying you're great and not like that, you saying that to yourself might take over, because you're the most powerful person over yourself and you know yourself the most. And just because you know yourself the most doesn't mean you are constantly right about yourself. You can be completely wrong about yourself with knowing everything about yourself. So if that makes sense, you gotta understand that you gotta accept another point of view sometimes too. But don't rely on others constantly to validate you. So, now that we identified the problems, let's go and see solutions. For constantly talking bad about yourself, even if you have to fake it, it takes everything inside of you. Tell yourself that you are proud of you. Tell yourself that you're happy with what you've done, that you deserve great things, that you are a good person. Even if you don't see results within the first week, keep doing it. And you don't have to do that like constantly every day. You can do it once or twice when you wake up, and then a few times before you go to bed, and then maybe once through the middle of the day. That's it. Just do it a few times a day. I guarantee you it will make a change. And then you have to have meaning behind those words. You can't just say empty things. If you just say like, I'm the best person in the world, yeah, that might feel good, but if it doesn't have meaning, and if you're trying to put yourself above others constantly, that's not going to be healthy or good either. You can't do that and expect to be healthy, because then you'll just be pushing yourself to the other side. You'll become overconfident and over having too much feelings about yourself better than others and putting yourself above others. And that's really not a good thing. And then you'll have another problem, and you'll have to work on going the other way again. So let's say you just do that a few times a day. After a month or so, I guarantee you will feel different. If you do it like that, you will feel different, and you will feel better about yourself and notice things. And you should always pay attention to what you're telling yourself and what you're letting get to your skin. If someone else says you're awful, you need to look at that and see, why are they saying that? Why am I really awful? Did I really do something? Even if you did do something awful, we all make mistakes. And let me tell you, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone makes dumb mistakes. It depends not on what mistake you did, but how you react to that mistake. If you just sit there and don't learn from your mistake, and you just keep doing it over and over again, you're not an awful person, but you're sure not helping to make a case against that. But if you learn from your mistake and you don't do that again, you can grow, and you should always try to be better. And that is why at times cancel culture can be so hard for people who have changed over the years, which is something that you should not feel bad about. If you made a mistake about hurting someone, say not physically, let's just say, because physically it's like a whole nother area. Let's say you cheated on someone and with another person who's married. Let's say you did that, and at the time you thought it was perfectly okay. If you later on notice your mistakes and what you did wrong, you can improve. You can work on yourself. You can always work on yourself. And that will help so much. I guarantee it. You are constantly growing. There's a reason why when you look back at the way you used to be, you look at it and you don't like the things you did. Maybe you don't like the way you thought. There's so many reasons for that. And that's why. And I mean that. Because you have to constantly improve. No one is staying stagnant, just sitting around doing nothing. Everybody is constantly improving and changing. It may not be a lot. It doesn't have to be a lot. It can be a small amount every single day. But that's what matters. Because you are not the same person you were yesterday. And to go against the other thing with wallowing in your sadness and sitting around in it, there's a few things you can do. Sorry about that. I just had to get a little bit of water. There's a few things. If something horrible happened to you, it's okay to sit in it. It's okay to process it and go through it. Never let someone tell you that it's not okay. Because if you don't go through it and you don't process it, you keep it bottled up inside. You hold on to it. And then what happens there, you let it all out all at once. And that's not good. Not only can that severely hurt you, but you can severely hurt others. Not only emotionally, but physically. And it happens very often. Because you should not hold things in and just shove them down. You shouldn't just forget about it and move on. You need to process it and then accept it that it happens. You can get angry about something happening. That's okay. You just can't hurt somebody else over it. Because that's not okay. And you need to understand why that's not okay and what you can do instead. Because when something happens, let's say someone in your life close to you dies, you should wallow and be sad for a little bit. Take your time. It's not like a set amount of days. I'm not going to tell you you have 5 days to be sad and after that you should be happy. That's not what I'm going to say, because that's not true. You need to take your time and how long you need to do it. You need to process that, and then once you're ready, you need to accept that happened, and you got to keep pushing forward. You don't have to never think of them again, or never talk about it or think about it again, but you have to stop sitting in it constantly. You can go back to it sometimes, but if you sit in it constantly, in that sadness, it will consume you, it will take over, and most importantly, it will change you and hurt others around you and you, most importantly. And which is why you can't do that. You can't just sit there and be sad about everything that's happened constantly. You gotta go do something you love. Do something that's fun. Try something new. Whatever it takes. Because you need to get out of that. And let me tell you another thing. You got to learn how to be happy without them there. Like, their life ended, and that is, yes, a sad thing. But would they want you to stop your life as well just because they had theirs stop? Think about that. They probably wouldn't. They probably would want you to keep going. So, keep that in mind. But remember that no matter what you do or where you are, no matter how bad it gets, just never give up, you know? Don't give up, because then the bad thoughts win. Then those sad thoughts and bad thoughts win, and they take over, and you don't want those to win. You want you to win. Don't let them win, you know? Giving up, that's the easy part. That's the easy choice. Don't do that. So that's all I'm saying. Just something for you guys to think about. And you do those positive words of affirmation to yourself and positive thinking. Trust me, guys, it'll change you completely and it'll help you immensely. So that's all I wanted to say in this one little spot. And yeah, I just wanted to say that. And yeah, I hope y'all are doing good, and make sure to tune in for the next video, and keep thinking positive. I love you all. So yeah.